I was driving through the back roads near my uncle's farm in the south of the US. The fields had been abandoned for years after a strange blight turned the soil black and the crops to dust. The locals said nothing grew there anymore, not even weeds. My car sputtered as I pulled onto the gravel path that cut through the dead wheat. The sun was setting, casting long shadows over the withered stalks. I wasn't supposed to be here. The county had put up signs warning of contamination, but I needed a shortcut. I rolled the windows down, letting the warm evening air in. That's when I heard it. A low, tuneless whistling. At first, I thought it was the wind, but it was too deliberate, too human. I slowed the car, peering into the field. The sound seemed to come from everywhere at once, shifting between the stalks like something moving just out of sight. Then I saw them. Figures, tall and thin, standing perfectly still among the dead wheat. Their bodies were wrong too elongated, their limbs bent at unnatural angles. Their faces were smooth, featureless, except for the deep, vertical slits where their mouths should be. The whistling was coming from them. I slammed my foot on the gas. The car lurched forward, tires kicking up gravel. In the rearview mirror, the figures didn't move. They just stood there, watching. The whistling grew louder. It wasn't just behind me anymore. It was inside the car. A wet, breathy sound, like air forced through a punctured lung. My hands shook on the wheel. The road ahead stretched endlessly. The fields on either side a blur of blackened stalks. Then, one of them stepped onto the road. I swerved. The car fishtailed, skidding into the ditch. My head slammed against the window. Dazed, I looked up. They were closer now, dozens of them, surrounding the car. The whistling became a chorus. I fumbled for my Fanino signal. The engine had died. The figures didn't move toward me. They just stood there, their hollow mouths open, that awful sound pouring out. Then one of them tilted its head. The whistling stopped. Silence. I held my breath. Then, from the field, something answered. A deep, guttural croak, like a bullfrog the size of a house. The ground trembled. The figures turned in unison, their blank faces tilting toward the sound. Something was moving through the wheat. Something big, the stalks parted. A massive, pulsating shape emerged, a swollen, glistening mass of flesh, covered in blinking eyes and dripping mouths. The figures bowed as it approached, their whistling now a reverent hum. The thing looked at me. Every muscle in my body locked. My vision blurred. A warm trickle ran from my noseblood. The thing made another sound, a wet, clicking noise that vibrated in my skull. Then, the figures moved. They reached for the car. I don't remember how I got out. I don't remember running. All I know is that I woke up in a hospital bed 3 days later, my skin covered in shallow cuts, my throat raw from screaming. The doctors said I was found wandering the highway, babbling about the whistlers and the thing in the field. They said it was heat stroke, hallucinations, but I know what I saw. And sometimes, late at night, when the wind blows just right, I can still hear them whistling, waiting for me to come back. This happened last summer on a tiny, secluded beach near Etretat, France. You know those picturesque cliffs with the arches? Yeah, well, there's a cove just south of there that tourists don't go to locals. Call it L'eau qui chuchote, the whispering water. I was camping alone, just me and my dog, Bastien. The beach was technically closed. Some kind of bacterial bloom had turned the tide pools a sickly green, but I figured, I won't swim, just sit by the fire and listen to the waves. Big mistake. The first night was fine, but on the second, Bastien started acting weird. He wouldn't go near the waterline, and his ears kept twitching like he was hearing something I couldn't. Around midnight, I noticed the tide pools were glowing. Not like bioluminescence, but a faint, pulsing light, like something was breathing under the water. Then the whispering started. At first, I thought it was the wind through the cliffs, but noi was words, soft, slithering French, just barely audible. I couldn't make it out, but Bastien freaked. He started barking like crazy, hackles up, backing toward the fire. That's when I saw the shapes in the pools. Little things, at first, pale, finger-like tendrils curling over the rocks, probing the air. Then bigger, once-thick, ropey strands of something slick and veiny, sliding out of the water. I grabbed Bastien and bolted for the cliff path. Behind me, I heard a wet slap, like a giant tongue hitting rock. I didn't look back. Halfway up the trail, Bastien yanked his leash out of my hand. I turned just in time to see one of those things wrapped around his hind leg, dragging him toward the water. I lunged, grabbed him, and pulled. The sound he made, Jesus. It wasn't a yelp. It was a scream, human, like a child screaming. I yanked harder, and whatever had him let go with a disgusting squelch. Bastien scrambled into my arms, shaking, his fur soaked in something that wasn't seawater. It was thick, sticky, and warm. I didn't sleep that night. Just sat by the fire, clutching Bastien, listening to the whispers rise and fall with the tide. At dawn, I packed up and left. But here's the worst part. Bastien's fine now, totally normal. Except sometimes, when he's sleeping, his lips twitch, and he whispers, in French, in a voice that isn't his.